What's up, Cubers? My name's Kenneth. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 most difficult puzzles to solve. Before we start, I want to talk about what makes a puzzle difficult. And basically, I've outlined three kind of main things that make a puzzle really hard to solve. First is the cleverness, the kind of the mechanism. What are the algorithms you have to come up with to solve it? So I'm going to call that cleverness throughout this video. The second thing that makes it something hard to solve is maybe how tedious it is. So something like a 13 by 13 isn't that much more clever than a 3x3, but it's far more tedious to solve. So that can make it difficult. And the third way that a puzzle can be hard to solve is through obfuscation. And that is basically making something super unclear or unintelligible. So you can see this ghost cube here. It really is just a 3x3, but it's been made very unclear through obfuscation. And that makes this puzzle actually a lot more harder than the original 3x3. So those are the three aspects that can make puzzles difficult to solve. And because there's so many ways to make puzzles hard to solve, it also makes it hard to kind of categorize what puzzles are harder than others. And it's also very personal. So, you might have had a mental block about one aspect of a puzzle, and that made it really hard for you. And maybe it was just that day. Maybe on another day you would have had an epiphany and it would have been a lot easier. So it's really hard to judge the difficulty. And then for me personally, I don't really care so much for puzzles that are tedious, and I don't really care for puzzles that have been obfuscated. I'd much rather have those ones that are very clever. So I'm going to show you guys my top 10 difficult puzzles, and these really are from me, what I found difficult, and it's really the ones that I feel are really clever and not so much those other two categories. So anyway, let's get started. So I broke this up into three groups. I'm going to start with puzzles I have solved, puzzles I used a tutorial to solve, and puzzles I have never solved. So let's start with puzzles I've solved. So I'm going to start with this one. This, of course, is the Tetracopter 12, which I recently showed. And this is a very difficult puzzle. And it's a puzzle that I recently came up with. And it really is extremely clever. It's a completely different mechanism that I've never had before. So it required coming up with brand new algorithms. And it wasn't so much tedious, but it was very, I would say, clever. And yeah, it's a very cool puzzle, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. You can only get it 3D printed right now, but yeah, it's a very cool puzzle. Hopefully one day it'll become mass produced, because I think it's really cool. So anyway, this is Tetracopter 12. The next puzzle I'm going to show is actually this one here. It's the mix-up gear cube. Mix-up gear cube is, I would say, another very clever puzzle. And it is extremely difficult. In fact, I came up with a solution for it, but I've forgotten my solution. So I have to remember my solution if I'm going to solve this puzzle. And I might have to go watch some of my solve videos I've done in the past. But I really love this puzzle. This is a really cool puzzle. It turns extremely well. And I think it's really great. And yeah, you have to come up with, a couple algorithms. And I find it to be extremely clever, and it's slightly tedious in that there's a lot of problems you have to solve to fix this puzzle. So I would say this is a very difficult puzzle. So yeah, that's the next puzzle. The next one I'm going to show is this one here, and this is the Insanity Cube, which is another David Pitcher puzzle. And this one too is a very clever puzzle. It's got a kind of a simple mechanism. There's 6 axes. And it's almost like a Rubik's Cube. You've got 6 sides that can turn. But yeah, this one, it really kind of messes with your mind. And it requires, maybe 3 or 4 algorithms to solve it. You have to come up with those algorithms, and you can solve it. So this is another really difficult puzzle, but it's extremely clever. So it's not very much tedious. You're always solving something new. And I like that about this puzzle. So the next puzzle is the Gear Cube Extreme, and this puzzle, when I solved it, it was the first time I solved the really difficult puzzle, and so I was really excited about solving this puzzle. But yeah, I found this puzzle really hard. It's like a gear cube. A gear cube is really easy, but then this one's different because these 4 edges here have no gears, and so it lets you do 90-degree turns at these the top and bottom twists. So yeah, I think this is a really cool puzzle, and yeah, I was really proud of my solution. I came up with it. So yeah, that's the Gear Cube Extreme. So this is the Curvy Copter Plus, and this one I'm really proud of my solution. And it's another one that I've solved, and I've forgotten the kind of algorithms that I came up with. So this is one I have to go back and remember how I solved it. This one is mass produced, and it's a really great puzzle. It turns great. It was invented by Tom Z, and it's a really awesome puzzle, and it jumbles. And the jumbles, they've made it so that it no longer bandages. So that these little slices here allows the jumble moves to not be bandaging moves. So you can see I can go like that, and then I can also this no longer bandages, so I can turn this layer here as well. And so it makes it to be a very difficult puzzle to solve, and it's really hard. I was really proud of my solution for it, but of course I forgot my solution, and so I'm gonna have to remember it to solve this puzzle. But hope I might be lucky, because it looks like that this puzzle was not jumbled when it was messed up, so I might be able to solve it. Although now, of course, I might have just screwed it up. Let's see if I can get back. So yeah. So anyway, it's pretty cool, and a very fun puzzle. So the next group of puzzles I want to show you are these two puzzles. And these two puzzles are puzzles that I actually went and found tutorials for. These ones I kind of got fed up with, found tutorials for, and I solved them. But of course, I forgot those tutorials. So let's start with this one. This is the constrained cube. And the constrained cube is cool because it can only turn 90. This is the 90-degree one. So each side can only turn 90 degrees. And then the center pieces keep it from turning further. And it makes it very difficult to solve. And I went and I looked up the solution for this. And then, of course, I've forgotten the solution. And now that all my puzzles got scrambled, I need to refigure it out. So this is one I wish that maybe I hadn't looked up a solution. And now that I've forgotten that solution, I kind of have a second chance to try to figure this out. So this is one I need to spend some time with, and hopefully I can solve it. So this is the constrained cube, 90-degree constrained cube. Here, of course, is also the square one. Square one is a puzzle that I solved in the past, but I kind of cheated in that I found a solution for it online, and I had memorized that solution, and that was years ago, and I've now forgotten that solution. So now this is a puzzle I can't solve. And this is one that I think, if I revisited, maybe I could come up with a solution for it, coming up with my own algorithms. So this might be one I'd like to go back and try again. And I don't really know if this is like more difficult or less difficult than some of these other puzzles that I solved after learning much more about twisty puzzles. So this is one I'd like to go back. There's a bunch of them here I might call nemesis puzzles, ones that I can't solve, but I feel like now I might be able to get them if I really tried to spend time at it. So anyway, this is a square one. Lots of tutorials online, and this is a pretty popular puzzle. So the final three puzzles, these puzzles are ones that I've never solved. And so these are my true nemesis puzzles. And I'm going to start with this one. This is the Meffert's Bandage Cube. This one was actually made by Nathan Wilson, a fellow YouTuber and puzzle modder. And he sent this puzzle to me. And I think this is good. This is one I'm going to have to go back and try to figure this out. When I first got this puzzle, it was over 10 years ago, and I quickly got kind of fed up and didn't solve it. And at the time, there was no YouTube, so I was pretty much done. And so I never actually solved it. So this is one I'd like to go back and try to figure out. And I think I can do it. This is one that it's making my top 10 most difficult puzzles. But it's only making it because I've never solved it, but I think I can solve it now. So I'm going to have to go back and give it some time. So I think I might start like a Nemesis series where I go back and solve all of these old puzzles. So anyway, this is the Meffert's Bandage Cube. So here is a puzzle that truly is difficult. And this one I got when I've learned how to solve cubes, and I've learned how to come up with my own algorithms, and I still haven't solved it. And this is the Maltese Gear Cube from Oscar Van Deventer. And this is a great 3D printed prototype puzzle. It's really amazing. It turns great. The stickers are awesome, and it's a fantastic cube. And it's very, very difficult, and I can't solve it. And I've gotten very close. I get to like I forget what it is. Maybe these little internal gear pieces are misoriented or something like that. But I get very close to the end and I can't solve it. And what's really difficult is that I've kind of overcome many steps in solving this puzzle. But then after kind of letting it sit for a while, I forget those steps. And now if I were to go back and try to solve this puzzle from scratch, I have to remember those kind of problems that I've already solved. So anyway, it really is makes it difficult for me to go back and solve this puzzle. But this is one I'd love to go back and spend some more time. And I think this could be my most difficult puzzle I have that I own. And it's one that I'd like to, I really would like to solve. Another one of my nemesis puzzles. I've never solved this puzzle. And here we go. This is the last puzzle I have to show you. And this is the Latch Cube by Katsuhiko Akamoto. And this one truly is a very difficult puzzle. And it's one that is extremely clever. And basically these arrows let you know what direction the face can turn. And if you get two arrows pointing opposite directions like this layer has, then this whole layer is bandaged and won't turn. So you have to find one that has either all the arrows the same direction or just one arrow. So that you can see this side has one arrow that's going this direction, indicating that this top layer now can turn clockwise. And sure enough, it can turn clockwise. And that's all it can turn. It can't turn counterclockwise. And you can see it changes some of these other layers. So here now, this one can turn counterclockwise. And so anyway, it's extremely difficult, and it just messes with my head. I cannot solve it. I've spent a lot of time on it, but at the same time, I haven't spent time on it since I've learned a lot about twisty puzzles. So this is another puzzle, another nemesis puzzle that I'd love to kind of spend more time on. But it's definitely one of the hardest puzzles I have. And it's definitely my biggest nemesis. This one has really been mocking me on the shelf for years now. And and I think I've made a bunch of videos and mentioned it in many videos. So you guys know that this truly is my biggest nemesis. And I really need to go back and really kind of solve this one, because it really is just mocking me here, all scrambled up. So anyway, there you go. Those are my top 10 puzzles. Most difficult puzzles, and there are other puzzles I haven't solved. There's the I think it's Ben's Master Little Chop, but yeah, there's other puzzles out there I haven't solved, but I don't have them with me. So these are the top 10 most difficult puzzles I have today. Some of them I solved, some of them I use tutorials for, and some of them I've never solved. So anyway, that's it, guys, for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks, guys, for watching, and of course, have a great day.